Hello, and today in this video we're gonna get back to PHP. So in this video we're gonna cover how to connect to a database. I'm gonna assume you have some sort of database installed in your computer. In this case we're gonna use MySQL, and so the first thing we need to do, right, that's our code, and we're gonna create a new file called connection.php. There's different ways to connect to a database, but I think the best one, the best method to connect to database in PHP is using PDO, because it lets you connect to a lot of different databases. In this case we're going to be using MySQL, but I used myself Postgres a lot, and we can use Postgres to connect to it. But if you like some other way to connect to it, it's perfectly grand, because it's just a file that you're never going to touch again. It's just a connection. You just need to put your file here and that's it. So what do we need to create? We need to create this file, which I'm going to link in the description below. And we need a few things. We need a server name, which is going to be, in this case, we're going to connect to our local host, but you could connect to like a database somewhere in the world that is public. We need a username and a password. In this case, I kept the username in my database called username, and the password is going to be called password. Then we're going to connect to a database. I'm going to call it recordings. And in this case, we haven't created a database yet. Okay, so I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to go to the browser and connect to connection.php. Okay, so see, we tried to connect, and is there any problem? This catch block is going to echo connection failed, and it's going to get the message from the database. So let's see what we got. We got unknown database recordings. Okay, so how do we connect to a database? Well, anywhere in the terminal. If you are using Windows, you can go to the command line. If you have it set up, you will need to do something like that. MySQL -u, then the username, and then -p, that stands for password. So -u stands for username. We'll put the username you have. In this case, I think that the default one is called root, and the password we put -p. We enter, and it's going to ask us for a password. I'm just going to type in password, so password, and we're in. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is just do a simple statement saying show databases. Whoops, my mistake. Show databases semicolon. So we have all the databases we have here. So we're going to create one. So we're going to say create database, and we're going to call it recordings. Semicolon. Perfect. So we do show databases. There we go. We can see it here. Okay. So now we're gonna use database. So we're gonna say use recordings. Okay, perfect. So now we're using it. So if we go back here, perfect. We have connection successful. So now we're connected. So now after you do this, you won't need to touch this file again, the connection.php. So I'm going back to the index.php. We have this file that says connecting to a database. There's nothing in here. So what is good practice is that each file that's going to access the database, we could do something like this. PHP require once connection.php. So each file that needs to access the database, we just put this thing script at the top that is gonna let us access the database. So if we run it again, there we go, we're connected successfully. So we don't want to be showing the user we're connected or not. So we're gonna just delete that. Whoops. So again, we're not showing anything. We're just gonna show the error if something happens so we can see it. So what is the first thing we need to do? Well, if we do again use recordings and we do show tables, it says empty set. That means that we don't have any tables. So let's just go and create a new table. The syntax might be a bit different depending on what kind of database you might be using, but we're going to be using MySQL for now. So just if I was you, I would just use MySQL for now, but they're all pretty similar. So you could get away with using Postgres if you wanted to. So we're going to do create database, create table, and we're going to give it a name, users. Let's actually call it products. We open, and then we put what kind of fields do we want for a database. Also, I'm assuming you know a bit of databases, okay, just a little bit. So the product is going to have an ID, which is going to type of 5 integer, and not null, auto increment. Okay, so that means I'm just going to increment the value of it each time, auto increment, then comma. What else do we need for our table? We need a name for the product. Okay, that's all we need. Name. We're going to do varchar 255. That's just the name, and it's 255 characters. And not null. We can just leave it actually as null if we wanted to. Then we close that bracket, this bracket here, and then we put a semicolon, and that should be okay. Oh yeah, of course. We also need to specify the primary key. So we do primary key, and then we do ID. Perfect. Okay, so we have a product with an ID, which is type integer, not null, auto increment. Also a name of type varchar, and then the primary key, which is the ID, the one we created here. So now we do show tables. There we go. We have a table called product, and I like to call them product singular, but in this case we're just gonna leave it as plural because, you know, why not? So we could do a simple statement like select all. The star stands for all from product. Nothing, because we don't have any information at all. So now, for example, what we could do, because we require the connection.php, we have this very nice variable called con, which stands for connection. You can call it whatever you want, but once it's called here, you need to keep it that way. So I like to call it con because it's just a standard. So we're going to open the PHP files, the tags, and we're going to say con. And then we're going to say prepare. Okay, and in prepare, in single quotes, or well, double quotes if you want to, we can prepare the statement we want. So we can do select all from product, and we don't really need the semicolon, but you could use it if you wanted to. And then we just need to do con execute. I'm probably not spelling something right here. And then we do again, whoops. So I made something, okay? So data is equal to con. So we're just returning the prepare statement. Now we're using data here to execute the value. And then we're saying again, product is equal to, and I don't like the capital P there, so I'm just gonna call it P. Product is equal to data dot fetch. Okay, so we're just fetching the data. So we're preparing a statement, we're executing the statement, and we're fetching. And so product has some sort of information. So let's just do a var dump. Remember, var dump is a way to display information about a variable or anything at all. Product. So let's go here, and it's false. So we got false. What's the problem with false? Our problem is that there's no information at all. Okay, so we're gonna do very simple. So we're gonna insert into product, and we're gonna put name, values. What values do I want to insert? iPhone 5s. Okay, that's an all iPhone I had. Perfect. So we do select all from product. Now we have one product of the name iPhone 5s. So if we load it, look at that. We're just reloading these values. So we're just, remember, we're connecting to the database, which is the variable we use in the connection.php. We're preparing the statement we want to insert. So select all from product. We're executing that statement, and then product, then we return the data we fetched with product, and then we're just doing a var dump. So that variable has that. We have an array with an ID and the name with the iPhone 5s. As you can see, everything is duplicate, and that is because is the way we're fetching information, but I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, so that's the way we can connect to the database and retrieve values and information. So I hope that was useful, and the next video will go into building a proper application. So thank you for watching, and bye bye.